Welcome to our Posh podcast. I am here with my amazing co-hosts, my daughter Marcella.
Hello.
Our Bernie.
Uh-oh. Hello. There's usually an introduction before.
Spider.
Hello.
Hey, I got to change it up every once in a while.
Totally threw me off.
We want to thank everyone for listening to us. We're so excited that we get new viewers all the time. And please subscribe. Listen to we're on all podcast venues, really, that you can possibly find us, and also on YouTube. So please subscribe, write a review. This helps us keep the show going, and all of us working together, because it's actually a lot of work to put these shows on. You wouldn't believe how much work it is. It's not as easy as it looks. But the last show we had, also I wanted to say, I know people are asking, we will continue with the Mafia shows. We're just taking a little break, so it's not just Mafia. So we're going to have some fun shows, and then we'll put some Mafia back in.
Yes.
So back and forth, because they're all long. So today, and also let everyone know that we have 2 segments on the show, and it is Party with Miss Polly, our sexual health therapist, and the question of the day, which is always fun banters, and you should not miss it.
So on our YouTube channel, you can pick those segments.
Yes, separately.
By themselves.
Yes, exactly.
So subscribe, please.
Yes.
If you don't like the rest of our show and you just want that one.
And also, last time we considered doing a new segment where we read erotica kind of thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
With the guests.
Well, I want you to know I researched it.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think we could do it.
Why?
I don't know. It's so risque. And then I don't know. I was like,
Have you listened to some of our shows?
Send it to me, and I'll be the first one. We'll do it as a trial run.
I will do that for next time. Let's try it and see how it goes. Could you, in the meantime, come up with a cool jingle for it? Like a new segment jingle?
Yeah, we'll figure something
All right.
out.
That sounds cool. Let's do that.
That's going to be funny.
That's something to look forward to for everyone.
I forgot about that.
Here's the thing: is it doesn't even have to be done correct, right? I think the whole part, like the point, would be just to laugh or see who could read an entire. I feel like I would pee my pants, like laughing so hard.
I've never ever.
So maybe we will try it.
Erotica. So
All right, we'll do it for sure. Spider will be first.
Okay, Spider will be for. Are
And
we
then
gonna have to
Marcella
do
will
it?
be second.
I'll totally do it.
We'll get one with 2 characters. We can read the same scene.
Oh my god!
That is good. That's
is
like
good.
the way to do it. All
All
right.
right, I will find stuff. All right.
So Spider and Marcella had the first segment. Yes.
No, Spider's going first.
But if we're gonna do
And
like
then-
a 2-part read, I mean,
That could be another one.
That's another one.
That's funny.
Because we're going to make it a segment.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my god.
all right, guys, we had part 1 of the pre-marriage checklist, which we think is super, super important. And we were actually surprised when we started this that we had so much to say and how important it is, I think, for people to really ask themselves. So really listen to that show. It was all about all your
If you're in a
feelings about
relationship,
children.
yeah, and wanting to get married,
And
ask these questions.
That's right. Or even if you're looking at getting to a serious relationship with someone who
important.
has kiddos or doesn't. These are important questions.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. We found out a lot of things. It's the pre-marriage checklist part 2. And we're going to start right off with, how do you deal with conflict?
Oh, that's a big one.
That's a huge one.
That's a huge one.
So,
But do you ask that, or do you just like?
no, you need to ask it. These are your marriage checklists.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, well, yeah,
Yeah,
No, there
and
are
so your
2 parts to
question
that.
is, would you be willing to go to marriage counseling if we were having marital problems? That's the first question.
I don't even know if I'd call it the first question, because I think anybody is going to look. I think anybody. I'm guessing. This is my 2 cents. I think is going to say yes. That's a knee-jerk yes, because there's nothing.
You would go?
I think if
You would say yes?
I would, if we were
Like Patrick says, absolutely not. I don't need someone.
that does not shock
just saying.
me. But I think that
No, I think
Yes,
it's cool
it's
that you
good.
would say
no. What I was saying is, I've been married before, so I've.
Did you
went
go
through-
to counseling?
Yeah, it was
You
like a
did.
fucking horrible waste of time.
Why? Tell us.
So why? Because
I think it's interesting.
so I say that, and I should backtrack, because my ex-wife and I went to like 5 different marriage counselors who
Different ones.
different ones, and I think even counselors can be a little biased. I really believe that. I think some are a little biased if it's a female, or some maybe more biased to the female, or because I've seen counselors who also go through life. They get through their own shit.
Yeah,
right?
they're human.
They're human, so they have their emotions, and some of those counselors aren't even healed and trying to heal other people, right? So I think people's natural reaction, if you were in dating or saying, "Hey, if we had issues, would you consider counseling?" I mean, that's not a hard thing to say. Yeah, I'll consider it. I mean, it comes more down to the push come shove. We're having issues. I want to go to counseling. Will you go with me? Because I've dated women who said my ex wouldn't see a counselor. They said they're going to, and so I think anybody's first knee jerk reaction is to say, yeah, I'll go to counselor.
I think you'd notice if you were to see them all together, but a lot of Italian men would say no.
Hell no.
A lot of Puerto Rican men, Hispanic men, the same way.
Yeah,
it's like a
actually
pride
surprised
thing.
how fast you said yes.
Would say no, like a cultural thing would tell them no. But also I think the whole I have not ever, well, I guess I've tried different counseling things and it doesn't work for me, but I think what I have heard is if you can find the right person.
Agree.
But I guess especially if you're in a marriage situation, like the time you're like, okay,
the trial and error,
I mean, we're just going down.
The other part about it, when you're married, or most people, I think they go into the counselor situation when they've gotten to the point where there's such a buildup, right? So it's about to erupt, or if it's already erupted and you're both so frustrated. So I think one person who is wanting to go to see the counselor, they're already on that part of like they're fearfully wanting to heal the relationship. They don't want to lose the relationship. And then you got the flip side. The other person's like, fuck, I don't want to deal with this relationship. This is annoying. This is ridiculous. It's constantly happening. It's the same thing. And there's truth to both sides of that, right?
Seems complicated.
But it's super complicated. The frustrating thing that I dealt with when it came to a marriage counselor was having to tell the bullshit story again. Like,
over and over.
This is what we did. This is how she's wrong. And I'm just kidding. And then you tell the story, and then you just spend an hour telling your fucking story. And you're reliving that frustration.
Yeah.
And then, weirdly enough, I remember after every first counseling session, I think venting it kind of felt better. But then it was
Is that more resenting too, though?
It can be.
I would almost think that.
Well, it becomes more. I think it becomes more like where you're resenting each other, or one's resenting the other person. When, for example, let's say we'll just say my ex-wife and I, she could be. You get to the point where you're going to counseling because you can't agree on shit. There's something you can't agree on that you're like, all right, let's go get a mediator, basically. And if she's sharing something that I disagree with, like I think it's bullshit, I don't agree with that. And I'm having to rehash something I think is fucking nonsense. And then I have a counselor who's saying, oh, you're right. And how does that make you feel? That makes me, I'm feeling resentful. Now I have a counselor who's
on her side,
who's biased to her when I feel like I've been wrong, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So, but having to retell that story.
See, that's why I have I have kind of my own little, I'm not saying counseling is bad at all, but I feel like it would be almost more important to have like someone that can truly be unbiased, like an amazing, good friend.
But how do you find that unbiased to who? To you or to, right?
I have one. She is unbiased. Like she will tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And
Iris.
Yeah. I mean, I can't.
But it's so hard to find.
It is hard to find.
So I think it goes back to the same thing. It is, how do you find the right person?
How do you find the right person?
I don't know. That seems to be, I think a lot of people, if they love someone, they'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll go. But then I guess when you really get down to it, that's, I don't know.
Because again, it comes down to, if you feel wronged, at the beginning of any relationship, it's happy time.
Right,
it's like great. But I think what helps negate down the road of having to, or lessens the likeliness of needing to go to a counselor, is asking these questions that we're asking right now.
Right.
Like if you can get onto the, like really the core values.
You don't have to go if you already figured the other shit out.
You shouldn't have to go if you really go through these.
And really get definitive-ish answers on these instead of gray.
You're right on that. Before I said, black and white. It's really black and white. Yeah. You're right. For sure.
Yeah.
If there is a disagreement between me and your family, whose side do you choose?
So that's a tough one. Hear me out on that one, right? Here's why I think it's a tough one.
That's really tough.
I say Jet's mom and I, because that's the only.
Yeah, that's all
it's
you
just if there was something that I always had her back. I really did, and she always had her back too. For the most part, we both did. But if she's wrong for something she's doing, like let's say she disrespected, like really out of line, disrespected my mom, and it caused attention to the family side. I mean, it's a horrible situation to be put in, and that never happened. I'm not saying it happened, but that's a tough situation being put into. So it's situational but ideally you want to have your person's back all the time, right?
You're supposed to.
You're supposed to, but do you get what I'm saying though?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I think
tough.
it's like so situational. It sucks when you're put in those situations and you're like, oh shit. Because
it's really, really
you're
hard.
damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, and then you're the one in the middle.
Yeah.
Which is awful.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It is uncomfortable, but I mean, this happened in our lifetime. Patrick has a sister that is
Psychotic.
really an issue and
I
real
hope
big
she hears
problem.
that.
We just want to say hello to you if you're listening right now.
I mean, it's the truth.
Not a
I
nice
mean, she
person.
was extremely mean and extremely mean to Marcella and I recently on Facebook and
Really?
in public,
It's so funny. I loved every second of
Okay,
it.
can you tell? Can you tell the story?
absolutely crazy. Yeah,
I forgot everything. I thought you printed. We were
It's-
going to talk about it on here.
I
thought.
actually printed the entire conversation, but yeah, what happened was that Patrick has always helped her out, and he was just sick and tired of it. She always asked for money, and I guess her son had a birthday, and she blasted on Facebook how horrible Patrick was for not
buying him a card or something. I don't know.
And I
Oh,
thought about it
shit.
and I actually slept on it. I didn't react. I kind of just didn't like the seeing out in the world on public Facebook when
Oh,
Patrick
yeah.
is such an incredibly giving human being. He gives to so many people and so much, and he never says anything about it. Like I just yesterday found out that he always gives like homeless people a $10 or $20 bill, or when it's cold, he goes to the store and buys some blankets. I did not know that. It came
He's
out
just so giving, and
such
you
a
would not
giving,
think
Good guy.
that. Yeah,
giving,
he's
He's a
good.
great person.
human being. And God, I don't know. Second day, that night, I don't know what happened to me.
Did
I
you
just
tell
was
Patrick
like,
about it?
well, he was asleep already, and I just
Me and her
said-
were awake.
I decided that I was not going to let that sit there. And I wasn't disrespectful. I just said, this is super disrespectful because he has been extremely giving to you, or something like that. I don't remember the exact wording, but it got out of hand. Like she started completely like,
Well, because
being
then I
horrible.
think
And
she
then
said
Marcella
something
got it.
about her, and then I was like, beep, 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 beep. No,
Yeah,
bitch.
Marcella started.
And then she started on me.
Oh, I was
Where y'all
so
messed up is y'all didn't let me get involved too.
crazy.
Because I would have been.
This is before. It wasn't
Good
that
Lord.
recent.
No, it was when we were at the old studio.
But she cracked me up because there's something really interesting about that whole thing, because Marcella then goes, well, I don't see cards flying in our house for Jolie
Oh,
either,
shit.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean-
It's like, so it's like stuff like that. And then it was really sweet from all that because Patrick's older sister, who I love and adore, but she was so much older. They weren't like super close because they just lived different lives. But that sister read what Marcella had said because someone forwarded it to her, and she was like, oh my God, I feel so guilty. I've never made an effort to get to know Jolie. I want to get to know Jolie better. So that's who we went to Florida with, and they're coming for Thanksgiving. So
Oh, wow.
sweet. So that all worked out really great. But in this case, like it was really, really bad. And
How long ago was this?
oh God, 2 years ago, maybe.
yeah,
No.
I would say a year and a half.
Maybe
2
a year
years
and a
ago.
half.
Yeah.
And I mean, when Patrick woke up, I told him, I said, you know, I couldn't, as your wife, let this sit there. And so I said something that got out of control. And I mean,
What did he say?
he hates it. I feel bad because that's his sister. But at the same time,
Did he address
he
her?
appreciated that we
I don't know if he
defended
talked to her.
him.
I don't know
Um,
what they talk about.
It's just,
But he always has
he always
my
has-
mom's back.
Yeah. He's always on my
Good.
side. Really,
Yeah.
always. And I'm not a fighter, really. I don't usually fight with people. I hate
surprise.
it. So that is really a sad part of that whole thing because, like, this is so unnecessary, you know?
Yeah.
Me, especially when you're married, that must be tough.
It's really
Like,
hard.
And if your partner is in the wrong, it's like, what do you do? It just seems so tough.
It is a tough situation. It's hard, but you are supposed to have your
people
back regardless.
Even for stuff like that, being cautious with, I think to go back to the counseling thing, I think it's important to have someone you can talk to, even if it's, biased or not, even if they're biased to you, having a person, right? You don't want, because sometimes it's important to be able to vent and vocalize what you're feeling, but
I feel like we do this for each other, actually.
For sure.
I really do. It's like, I think we call each other out when something's not right.
For sure.
So,
but I also think it's important to be cautious to, like, I'm using her as example, like, she never should have blasted anything personal. She had obviously some personal issue with Patrick.
Yeah.
She should have called Patrick and been like, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
How do you handle?
But I do see people do that on Facebook all the fucking time. It's the weirdest thing.
It was
why? Like, I don't get your dirty laundry on Facebook.
No.
And I'm so
thing.
quiet. I don't say much
We
at
never
all.
do.
But there can be times where I've like, I don't know. I just get pissed. But it's very rare.
That was so rare. It's
so rare. I never.
Of you adding on to that?
When we all did it, and then it was actually quite funny because we didn't know it was at 3 a.m, like 3:30, 4 a.m. No one was up. However, Patrick's nephew was up, and he starts texting me separately.
He was taking screenshots.
And
everybody's like
screenshots,
popcorn,
sending them. Yeah,
Wow.
it was like one of
because
those.
it got really funny. Because at some point, I know you've done it because I've seen you do it on Facebook, but and it obviously not with family. But like at some point, you almost want to keep it going. Like you almost want to continue. Let's see like how crazy you can get. So I was actually like enjoying it. I loved even everything she was saying about me. She tried to say like I had an abortion. I was like a coke whore. I was like. Oh,
like the most random things.
So I was like, an abortion. I've never even had an abortion, but this is hilarious.
It's meth whore. Meth whore.
Like, what are you talking about? But it got so funny. Like I even was laughing because when sometimes people are insulting you, like I've seen some people do it to you, and it's almost comical. Like it makes me laugh. I'm like, keep going because this is beyond anything that's normal.
Stupid.
So I just laughed.
I definitely, when it comes to, I will poke the bear. I have no problem.
I know, it's funny.
Keeping it on.
You should follow Bernie on Facebook. If you want some good.
Exactly. Follow him. He gets into it sometimes.
If you need some late night reading.
How do you handle disagreements?
Well, I think that goes back to why there's counseling needed because
So how do you do? Are you one that like is aggressive? Are you listening and then coming back? Are you going? Do you get so mad you get in your car and drive off? Do you not answer your phone? Like how do you all those things?
I feel like it's changed dramatically as I've gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
I can become very emotional. I'm not a screamer or yeller, but I can.
Do you hit under the belt?
Do what?
Do you hit under the belt?
No, I typically don't. I'm sure I have. But I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think now I'm a lot more methodical with how I deliver what I want to say because I think
so
that's
you're a talker. You don't shut down or anything like that.
I can do both.
Oh,
I really can. So I can, if I feel like I've been disrespected or if I'm feeling hurt, sometimes I don't know what to say because if I start talking too much, I will go off. But for the most part, I'll shut down more than anything. But when I'm ready to talk, I'll talk about it for sure. But I will.
But no yelling, no name calling.
Nah. I have before, but I don't do that shit anymore.
Masala.
Oh, we already know that.
We know that once you're set off, right?
Oh yeah. Well, so I try very hard to be a mature. As a woman, I never want to be like bitching. I never want to be yelling. I don't like screaming. It gives me anxiety. So I try very hard to have adult conversations with people. If I feel attacked, I will just be quiet. And that is the part that's hard is the little doors or windows in my heart close. So it's more heartbreaking. Like you break my heart and I will just be quiet. I cry.
I could see you as a big crier.
I cry.
I see y'all both as a big crier. You
I cry.
I cry.
Is Jolie the same way? Does she cry a lot?
Jolie cries.
Does she? Does Gino? Is he a crier?
No, not really.
How does he handle stuff? He seems like he's a big baby and like a big teddy bear, like a big emotional.
I think all of us are emotional.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing.
But we all know, and I've said it on this show a million times, push me hard enough and I will be the most psycho.
Yeah.
And it is so rare, but it does happen. But it does happen. Laugh, and it
makes me laugh. I can't help it. But it makes me laugh when she talks about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that is funny. But I don't think the receiving end person, like I have had some exes be like, I thought you were like, I am like a big guy and you scared me. Like I was scared for my life. Like and I think because you don't expect that from me. Yeah. And when I give warning after warning after warning, like people think I'm too nice or you don't take me seriously, mistake my kindness for weakness. And when that happens, I feel offended. And I'm like, I was nice. And now you all want me to be a raging bitch. I'll show you one. And we don't like it. And now
challenge accepted.
I'll show you. And that is what happens. But it takes a lot to get to that point. And that person usually deserves that flip out.
It's usually, I won't, in a relationship, like if I'm not, like right now I'm dating, you know, and like I've yet to.
You're not going to fight with them.
Yeah, I don't care. No. I truly, I don't care enough. And I dated this girl recently who just is super cool, person I was saying before, who loved y'all too. That with the one who didn't like the podcast.
Yeah.
So on paper, amazing.
Great.
She is legit. It was one of the most organic connections I've ever had. Like she's legit. Intimacy was great, all that stuff. But there was the way she fought. She was just a fucking baby. Like such a baby. Like
give me an example.
For example, I at the RNC, the Republican National Convention, I was watching it. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm big into politics.
Yes.
So that's that is some time. I'm not doing anything other than
we know it's probably like football for like a
correct
guy. Yeah. So just don't even talk to Bernie. Just do something else. Yeah.
So we're on the day, and she went and had dinner with some girlfriends, and so I'm, we're dating, but I'm not invested by any means. Like in this whole, I mean, I'll text you and whatnot, but she's her girlfriend, so whatever. So she gets done. I tell her I'm just working out and watch the RNC, and she FaceTimes me, and I'm watching. It's like 10 o'clock. Trump is speaking. I'm really paying attention to it. So I decline it, and I immediately start to I decline, but because I don't want to talk to you right now.
Yeah.
It's Trump is speaking. So I start texting her, hey, RNC is still going.
Yeah.
I hope you had a great night. I will, right as I'm going to say, I'll call you in a second. I get another FaceTime. I decline it. And then I finish the text and I hit send. So it should explain why I've declined it. Hey, watching this thing. And it's all a minute of, I get the first FaceTime, 30, 45 seconds later, I'm getting a second FaceTime. So she goes, okay. Which is kind of like a childish word. Yeah, she's a little older than me. So I don't say anything. She goes, never mind. You don't have to call. And I'm already seeing like the pattern of the immaturity in text. I said, all right, sleep well. So I was like, okay, because it's, to me, we're not there yet where this is stupid. What
do you want me to tell you what she shouldn't have done? Called you again. The first time, because you would say that too.
No, absolutely.
I would never.
No way.
By her, how she raised me. No, you are lucky if I call you. Like seriously,
but here's the thing: it's all relative, right? If we have the kind of relationship where we're talking, we call each other.
Right.
But I've said, hey, I'm watching this, and you actually know. Anyone who knows me knows I'm actually really watching. I'm not bullshit watching it. And if you want to check to see if I'm telling the truth, just turn it on the TV and see that it's still fucking on, and okay, he's declining it. But I'm sending a message that, hey, as soon as it's over.
This was nice. I call you.
As soon as it's over, it's almost over. I hope you had a good night. I'll call you as soon as it's over. And then as soon as I sent that, she said, well, never mind, something. And I said, all right, we'll sleep good. And then she goes, I'm fucking furious. And that's when I was like, it's something along the lines of that. And just got it's really immature like that. And I was just said, okay. But I mean, I just told her, look, essentially, for lack of explaining the whole story, I just said, this is dumb. You're immature. And for someone who's so well put together, I expected way more than this. And so anyways, it was,
that's making
Are you guys good now or no?
No,
that was it?
No, we talked. the next day, and then I completely said, I can't do this. This is stupid. You're bringing chaos to me. I said it very cool, very kindly. I was not a dick about it, but I was very direct. Like, hey, you're an awesome person. I think you're great. But this doesn't work for me. You're not my person because my person doesn't bring this. And I'm not looking to casually do it. But
honestly, that's true though, because I have told her, like, I need peace in my life. And when I feel like, especially like you said, like, if we're together in a relationship, we went through the dating phase, right? We're in a relationship and, we call each other and it's that normal. It's the normalcy of your relationship. Like, correct. You know each other. Dating, I even told you that, like, the pressure that people put on each other, like in dating, like, why are you putting pressure on me? Like, I don't have to call you. I don't have to, what, like, whoa. So if anybody was to do that, I mean, I just couldn't do that either. And I think it's great that you said, like, because I won't accept that anymore either. And it probably does come with getting older. But it's like, if you're going to bring chaos to me and make me feel nervous because I am busy with something I'm doing, I'm not with another guy or I'm not with another whatever, I'm watching a political show or whatever that you're into, something you want to do for you, and I say I'll call you back. If I feel attacked on that, like, that is probably going to be the biggest
when you said
run.
Like, the fact that you immediately text
immediately.
You shouldn't have done.
And I did highlight to her. I said, I've been at home. I mean, because she was at dinner with two of her girlfriends. I'm like, you and I've texted a couple times, and I've respected you. Like, I have respect. I wasn't like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, send me a picture. Nothing like that. I mean, whatever. That sounds weird, but I said, I'm the one been at home doing nothing except watching this. You've been out with your girlfriends. I'm not bombarding you with questions. I'm not accusing anything. I don't really care. But, like, this is not okay. And so
I don't think that, and this goes, I feel like if anybody's listening I think it's crossing a boundary when you have not established, like, a relationship yet. If I don't have to answer you I don't have to answer you that day. Like, if I don't want to answer you, I don't have to. And I think it's weird because I don't think it's just girls. Like, I think guys can be super fucking needy and like what the fuck? I don't have to do anything. Yeah. And now you're making me feel anxious. And now this is the biggest way that I'll run and I think people need to understand that if you're not in a committed relationship, like, give people, like, their space.
And that's the thing. People do all this stuff. Well, it goes down. That is a solid point. I mean, I think asking and answering all these questions help, but I think that it has to be organic chemistry, right? And you're nailing it on the head. I don't fucking owe you anything. If I feel like calling you, that sounds arrogant, but if you just really put it down that way, I will call you if I want to talk to you. Everybody, I have my phone on me right here. You have your phone there. Yeah. I see your call. And
sometimes like I do feel like it's not always about the other. Like, why does it always have to be about you? Like, everybody is going through different things in life. Yes. You have a son, you have your work, you have life stuff, and maybe you just don't feel like talking and you're tired. Like, and it doesn't mean you don't like that person. It doesn't mean anything. And I feel like people feel that they're owed so much from people that it's like, well, you're not allowed to do anything for yourself. And I feel like people need to respect people's boundaries because
I'm listening to both of you. And I feel like since this is a show about pre-marriage checklist, like, I feel that this is super important. Like, this is a precursor for
a relationship.
How that would be when you're in a real relationship.
Yes.
Absolutely.
This is a precursor of you have to almost check yourself to not allow other people make you feel nervous because you shouldn't. No one should make you feel uncomfortable, nervous, forced to, like, when those feelings come up, they should be all these red flags. They go, no. I need to check myself. And no, I'm not. I don't want that.
And Katie, recently, it's good because it goes back to, it's like the conflict thing. Has been talking to someone, like dating someone for about 3 months, and she really liked him, and they're dating. There's not a relationship, just kind of like talking, whatever. And I guess in a text message, they were bantering back and forth, like just being flirtatious, like silly. She sent me the screenshots and she said, well, you have time for this, but not time to come see me. Noted, LOL. Okay, whatever. And you might disagree, but I feel like as a guy, you should say maybe like, no, like, I didn't mean like that, whatever. Well, he attacked her. And
I'm like, what did he say?
I'm like thinking that was very lighthearted.
So like she didn't even mean anything by it. Like it was more just to be kind of like a flirty, like I want you to spend more time with me. Like noted, it's fine. LOL. She put LOL, laughing face, whatever. I told her, I said, run, because this is an abusive fucking man. He said, I have to read you the sentence. It's worth it to hear it because I told her, and this goes for any woman or guy. I mean, because women can be abusive too. Not going to lie. But he's
so interested right now to hear this.
It's not even anything that serious, but to me, it's a red flag.
And I'll give you my true, unbiased opinion. Well,
he said, what did she say? Oh, noted. He said, relax. You can come here. She put like this face, like this emoji. Yeah. He goes, you think you like it until you really let me check you. Noted. You can start by watching that dumbass sarcasm, not with me. Noted? ? And she goes, oh, wow. Okay. I go,
that's fucking
aggressive.
I go,
crazy.
Run so fast, because if that is how he is talking to you.
Yeah, I thought I was going to give you some sort of second opinion of that. Like, that's stupid.
Like,
that's like really
first of all, I
aggressive.
just said dramatic. Like, dude, chill the fuck out. Like, and he's like, I'm going to check you and you can drop that dumbass sarcasm with me. I was like, run. And she goes, she started crying because she said, this brings up like a trauma response for me. Mm-hmm. And I said, that is all the red flag. We're too old at this point. Like,
I think that's the thing, like what you're saying, and you're saying it now, you're saying it, like I think it comes with experience, right? Like,
for sure.
We could see that, and anyone could be like, oh, fucking run from that. Or even this person here, like I'm shutting that shit down, or it's just that
I think unfortunately comes with painful experience. Immediately responded.
That's like you ignored her.
Been, like she should have been, oh my gosh, yes, call me later, I'll be home. Like in a sweet way, because you're so new dating. It should all be sweet. So if it turns to this already, what the heck?
In the beginning,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what is she doing with him?
Oh, she's done. She goes, I don't even want to talk to him anymore. He's a police officer. He's very aggressive anyways.
Get it.
Jeez.
And I mean, I'm sure she wouldn't care. I don't think she really listens to it, but you know how she likes the dominatrix stuff? Well, she had asked him to like do some of that. He hit her so hard that she had to ice her face. And yes. And she said that, because she was like, slap me, whatever. Well, she said that
I'm sorry.
What the heck? She said,
bitch, here you go.
She said that she couldn't move. She was swollen.
I can't even believe.
I was like, Katie.
I'm laughing now because I'm more in disbelief of the laughing part. It's not even funny. Like,
I know.
What the heck?
That is crazy.
I know. Maybe cut her name out. But yeah, he hit her so hard.
Definitely cut her name out on this one. Here.
Yeah.
But I mean, why are we still talking to this person?
She's not.
There's this other question.
Yeah.
So what happened initially when they're having sex and he smacks her? Like, was she like? I'm asking. Like, was it a heated, hot moment?
And also, I'm going to be a little bit explicit right now, but like giving a blowjob, whatever.
Be careful because this show is very
Yeah, but I'm just saying this is going to get really kind of in detail, which we will have to cut her name out. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make more work for you, but when I tell you the rest of it, so she was talking about like giving him a blowjob, and she threw up on his penis because he choked her. She was like trying to push off.
What the fuck?
And he would like not like, he was so almost like being, because she wanted it like rough but not degrading, and he started like degrading, like choked her, so she threw up. He was like, it's fine. She's like, no, but I don't like that, like that's too much. Like when I tell you I can't breathe, I can't, like I need you to get off. And then hit her so hard. And then this noted conversation, I was like,
dude, that's
run.
Yeah.
That's actually really scary.
That's super scary.
That's super scary. I don't even know why anyone would want to get into that. Like, I don't get it. That's so dangerous.
That's one thing.
Can you imagine?
No.
Bah! I'm like,
this is really
disgusting.
I can't believe it. Like, she's going to end up dead if she doesn't get her act together.
Anyways.
Would you rather discuss issues as they...
Back to the list.
Back to the list. Would you rather discuss issues as they arise or wait until you have more problems?
Oh my gosh. If in a perfect world, you could address stuff as they come up, that would be I gotta imagine, at least in my world, that'd be so ideal because you can address them. What I experience
I can never be quiet. I have to say it immediately.
Yeah.
Or I will die first.
Yeah.
I think it has to be articulated and it has to be in the right
I do it nice
Correct,
first.
right? I think it's like, hey, I have an issue with it. However it's articulated. But the worst thing I think someone could do is let it build up and build up.
The
Because
worst.
then you have one issue that's built to a second, to a third, or fourth, and then it's the stupidest issue blew the whole thing up. And then, like, whatever. You didn't put, the toilet paper down or something. And
I'm the queen of this.
yeah, the build
terrible.
up, and then you just explode.
But here's the thing. That's not actually true, because I will bring it up, and I guess what I've heard from people in the past is that I am so nice about it that I'm not taken seriously, I guess.
That makes sense.
But do you want me to fight with you? Because
No. It makes sense though of
Yeah.
why they wouldn't take you so serious, because
Right.
you're saying it in a kind, probably like a very lax way.
Well, I feel like when I am so easygoing, like I can have fun wherever, it doesn't matter. This is sad, but it doesn't take a lot to please me. Like I am very bubbly.
Sad.
I love to laugh. I can really have fun with somebody funny. Like I'm so easygoing. So when I say, it's not often, and I'm like, hey, do you think I could talk to you about something that is kind of bothering me, and I would like to just maybe have a heart-to-heart with you? That is typically how I present
Really?
it. Oh, 100%, because I don't want to fight.
kidding.
I don't
Yeah.
want to argue. I have so much anxiety with fighting. If we can just have a really nice talk, I'll go for that.
Yeah.
So I usually do it that way, and I'll bring up what is bothering me really nice, and either I guess they just don't take me seriously, or they don't hear me, or they get mad, or they're like, why are you arguing? I'm like, I'm really not. I just want to
No.
maybe hear my way. I don't know. But then I don't want.
Right there. That right there.
That's
is
funny.
the problem.
Never mind. I guess we'll just screw
you know
I
what?
said anything.
You're right. I'm wrong. You're right.
And that's usually what happens. And then I go on, and then it happens again and again. So then I don't want to say anything because they didn't hear me the first time. And then another thing will happen. I'll try to bring up that. So then it becomes that domino, and then the explosion, and then they're like, wait, what? I'm like, well, I did tell you, remember, like 3 months ago, and you kind of shut me down. They're like, well, I didn't know you're serious. I was like, well, I was really serious, but
I mean, I'm actually serious when I'm speaking.
Yeah.
so
what does that tell you moving forward? Is that
I don't know. I don't want to fight with people.
No. I don't think there's anything wrong with not wanting to fight with anyone or be
You
combative,
do have to get your point across, though.
Yeah.
And if that turns into a fight, then you have to take the fight, because when there's never a fight, then you are not going to get what is important to you.
Right.
And I have a different way. I like to write. And actual counselors, they tell you to write and give it to the person, because when you write, you can get your feelings off your chest, and then the person can read it and they can have time to digest it.
Maybe moving forward, I should do that.
I mean, it's just something, if you can't say it, which you have an issue with, then maybe you need to go to something else. Like, I'm just saying, either way, someone doesn't have an issue.
Yeah.
I'm getting better. I don't write that much anymore. So I'm really bad about talking.
Have you ever thought about
But-
going to a retired counselor? I don't know, maybe you need to be, instead of so light about, not just like bitchy about it, but not so, maybe not as light as you have been.
Probably.
And a little more direct.
I do.
Like a little more direct.
And I'm not saying I am not at fault, because I have even said before, I feel bad because maybe it doesn't come across like that. But I think for sure, I haven't been single since I was 22. Truly. I think that a lot of my issue is trauma from the past, because to be honest with you, my past, like few past relationships, when they're upset, they're not doing anything to me. I can't handle the fighting from my past. So I am so still damaged, I think, from abusive relationships that I've never dealt with, that that's why I need to just be single. Yeah. Because I am not handling relationships like I should.
But are you doing, I think that's solid to say. And
I'm self-aware.
Very self-aware that way. But are you doing,
great.
One thing that I'd encourage you to do while you're being single is try to focus on those wounds that have been healed, right?
100%. I have to do that more than anything else. Yeah. Otherwise, it's never going to get better. Because honest to God, if somebody is upset, I think guy or girl has a right. You can both fight. It's not abusive, right? Yeah. So if a guy is upset, I need to just let that be okay and have a fight and be fine with it. She knows that my initial thing is like, I freak out. I panic. And that's not anything. And I know that's from not dealing with the past.
But that is also just in general, you knowing yourself that relax.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
It's not that I'm never going to talk to this person again. Let them get over it. It's okay. Like, let days go by. What doesn't matter?
Mm-hmm.
At least you got your point across. And
True.
It let them know that this is not okay to treat you that way.
Right.
You know, I think.
I mean,
and that's a really good point. I think the thing that a lot of people don't do, and there's stuff that I feel like I'm trying to be more aware of and more conscientious of, and more very, very solid on boundaries for myself, right?
Boundaries. I love that.
And being vocal about like what does and what, and not. There's some people like it drives me insane when I and I'll say it for a woman more than a guy. And again, just because I see more women vocal about, you know, I know my worth. Like they do it in this little shitty, bitchy, like really over direct, which just screams you're a murdered mess of like issues, right? But I think if you can, like what your plan is and what you're doing, everyone can take something of that to really try to work on those triggers and whatnot. I think once we can all get to that healthier, because I think we're always gonna be working.
For
we're always
sure,
gonna be dealing with pain. There's always gonna be triggers in my past and everyone's past. Maybe not you, because you're unicornish, right?
Oh, she did. Well, from my dad.
Okay,
I mean,
fair enough.
I was married to the mafia. I have so many triggers. And I always say no disrespect, but they know he was a pathological liar. It was extremely difficult. He was addicted to Xanax and Valium. There were so many issues. That was insane. I mean, the triggers were crazy.
Yeah.
But that, I think, is important that
Patrick's done good, though, about helping alleviate those triggers, right?
Because he is
aware.
He's extremely patient, honest. So he's not a liar or dishonest. So I don't find out things. Yeah. So that alone is incredible.
That's one of the worst things to do is you find out you've been lied to.
It's the worst.
God,
it's absolutely worst. And for me, it was every day.
I don't either.
I think once you've been lied to, that trust's been destroyed. I don't give a fuck. I mean,
and for me, it was almost daily. Like I found out things almost daily. I mean, and it's
bodies
just
in the
crazy.
trunk. You know?
That too. I mean, those are things.
She said she would still get nervous, like in Patrick's car, like opening the center console or something.
Oh my god! It was like, it was stupid. It was every day. I mean, he'd say, "Quit smoking." I have to go home. I see him drive down the road smoking a cigarette. Like it was
stupid
just
little things.
Everything though.
Those stupid little things add up for sure.
But then it was stupid little things, and then it was huge things. So it was nonstop, constantly, and it was really, really, really hard. And it was really, 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 really hard to be in that life. Really, really, really hard.
I can't even imagine.
Really, really hard.
I think more people think of like hear the whole thought. I think more people hearing that life would think of more of the cool shit to it than the trauma that comes with it.
It's a lot of trauma.
For example, and I can't even imagine yours, but I think about like his lifestyle was still worshipped, like Pablo Escobar. Hear my whole thought, right?
Yeah.
Billion. I mean, Forbes made him list him as one of the top richest people in the world. And then you think about all the stuff and his houses and all that stuff, but his life was fucking chaotic.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Just
God, never being able to breathe.
No. I mean, the anxiety he probably
spills over to your family.
Yeah.
So the chaos spilled over to me. The chaos spilled over to the kids. Yeah. And I actually, doing the show, I know we started this just randomly, but I reached out to his parole officer just because I remember this man being such a calm influence in my life back then.
Really?
Wow. He was my best friends too. He was almost like Kanye on my soul because he understood it all and he understood my place. And he was.
Are you also friends today?
Well, I don't talk to him that much, but because I did it, I wrote him an email and I didn't know. I just found out that he actually called me. So he wants me to call him and just talk. And he was.
I see a new show.
Yeah, I know. He was an amazing person. Like even for the kids, like he helped me because that was hard. She was 14. Gino was 7 when all this happened.
Did you remember him?
David Stout.
I would know if I saw, but
and his voice, like when he left me the voice message, I immediately was like, "Oh my god!"
Is he still a parole officer?
No, he retired. So, but I would love for him to come in. But
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean,
For so many reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's hear some stories. Good Lord.
So it was just like very chaotic. So
But
saying that, to have my second marriage, I think I always tell everyone, you can't, I understand the trauma. I understand her trauma. I understand everybody's trauma from past relationships. And I'm going to say something that might be weird, but I feel for me, being able to heal those wounds was to be able, like, to not bring those things in my new relationship.
oh my God.
I didn't.
Yes.
I was very careful. I tried to, every time there was something, I would go, no, you can't go back to that. This is new. This is all new. And I had to talk myself through it. So
But
that is
that's-
maybe something that, especially for Marcella, is something like, if you, whenever the time comes where you're in a new relationship and you feel that feeling, go, this is new. I can fight for this. Does that make
Absolutely.
sense?
Yeah,
So
of course
in a
it does.
way, that's kind of what I did.
It's
I never went to counselors because I didn't think anyone would understand and could help me, which no one could. I mean, who is going to school to help someone that was in the mafia? No one.
Man,
So I had
that
to
is
figure
so
it out
crazy.
myself.
But, you know, and it's true, you know, working on your wounds. I've used a phrase before, and I've said this to someone before. I'm not going to let I don't want your wounds bleeding on me. Like and it's
true.
true. Like,
It's
you know,
so true.
and because there's nothing worse than having to pay for, you know, you
Oh
just
my
start
God,
dating
it's
someone and you're paying
awful.
for someone else's shit. And I've said that I'm not paying for anyone else's shit. I don't owe
Well,
you
so
that.
even clearly the girl, like who
Yeah.
FaceTimed you twice. I mean, obviously that's coming from there must
Something
have been an
within
ex
her.
that cheated or wouldn't
Yes.
answer. So then now that is coming on you,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't want that chaos.
Yeah, not at all. But yeah, I think that as far as like working on ourselves and our
So important.
stuff, along with, I go back to because I genuinely think of all the lists we've ever put together, this is like the best, most like realistic list of things to help a solid relationship we've ever done.
And I'm only going to read this because we have to keep
Wrap
going
it
because
up.
we have to wrap it up. But just so that people that need to learn how to deal with conflict, you need to ask them, would you ever consider divorce? That's a big one. How would you communicate you aren't satisfied sexually? We have had talks about this over and over, but that's something very important to ask before you get married. What's the best way to handle disagreements in a marriage, and how can I be better at communicating with you? That is a good one for you too. Like, just ask, like, how will you receive it better if I write it? Because if you are going to come at me aggressively, then I'm not going to respond. I'm going to shut down.
When some people I know too are like, hey, when I get upset, I'm going to walk away. I'm not leaving you, but I need a minute. Now, I am the opposite and I want to fix it then. So I'm like, please. Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, I just need a second. So you almost have to respect how everybody wants to handle it. It's just when there are those two, it's like that.
It's
oil
interesting.
and water.
I feel like what I've experienced is people say one thing up front and they do a completely different thing in the heat of moment.
And that can be too. And Patrick and I usually have one fight a year, one bad fight a year.
It's
She
usually
knows.
hilarious.
Yeah.
One bad fight a year. And he has been known to sometimes get in his car and drive off. And I'm like, that's the worst thing you can do to me. However, I've learned that sometimes he just needs that to get away, take a breath.
Yeah.
But he's coming back. Where's he going to go? You know, I mean, really, realistically,
So funny.
I have meltdown. Marcella comes over and
Or she calls.
sits in the closet with me.
Aww.
So it's
I want to
kinda
sit in the
like
closet
that.
with you guys. I do.
I'll call you
We'll
too.
call you next
Next time.
So-
The last time, though, really quick, I know we have to go, but last time she was drunk and she called me, and Jolie calls me crying, and she's on the phone. She's like, I'm in a tree. I'm like, in a tree where? Patrick left me. I was like, where are you?
Where were you?
In
a tree!
around the corner of my house.
We
Oh
laugh
my
about it.
gosh,
Me,
this is
Gino, and
so
Jolie have a group
funny.
text, and we always send funny gifts of like a woman in a tree.
Oh my
We're like,
God. I
moms
can only
that make fun of me.
imagine. I can only imagine.
But once a year they fight.
oh, that's so funny. That y'all are so lucky. That's so not
I
normal.
know, but you know, I have to say, because of everything I just said, because of all these steps, that's why today it seems easy. But it wasn't always like that.
No.
I mean, we had to work for it and work through it, and I especially had to work through so much crap.
Yeah.
He's
But-
just very patient.
He's so patient.
Yeah.
So patient.
That's
Yes,
that is
so
a trait
patient.
on its own. Someone who can be patient
So
because
patient.
like I said, I mean,
Are you patient?
it depends.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just depends on the situation. I'd like to think I am. I definitely like to think I am, and I feel like I'm more patient now that I'm older. But I'm also I put up with a lot less. They're just I know if something's going to work or not sooner than later. I mean, the red flags are.
But I don't think that has anything to do with patience. I think that is now being very aware, like
Being
not
aware.
ignoring
Yeah.
red flags anymore.
Correct, but and I'm in the sense of I'm like you. I want stuff to be organic. Like I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
But so I'm a little more patient to it. But I feel like because I'm starting to not ignore any red flags. So I think it's easy when you're younger
Yeah,
to
of
ignore
course.
them. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they're
Much
it's a
easier.
red flag. It's warm. It's it's really pink.
Pink.
It's a little pinkish. But now because I'm so aware of stuff of what
Yeah.
is or what is not going to work. I don't have to be as patient because I'm not in a relationship if it's not going to work.
It's time to party with Miss Polly.
My husband gained weight. Now he doesn't get aroused. What do I do? Miss Polly says, well, there are male enhancement pills that might be able to help in that area. However,
Give him a heart
the
attack.
best course of action would be changing both of your diets to help him lose weight. There might be other health factors involved, and I recommend seeing his physician if it becomes a chronic problem. He could have low testosterone or some other health issue that is not only causing the weight gain, but also the low libido.
So there's truth to the fact that the low libido as we age, hormones for men and women drop, but it could be that he's masturbating a ton also, because that's true. When guys masturbate a lot, they're a lot because they live in this fantasy. Like I've had that before where I have watched a bunch of porn or masturbated a lot, and then I was less interested in sex.
Really?
Yeah, just because the
It
reality.
desensitizes you.
Desensitized, and it wasn't a healthy thing in any form or fashion. But it made it to where real sex wasn't as exciting as what I was watching on porn.
Uh-huh.
So but typically
that's actually a really important thing for people to probably hear.
huge because it's very real,
Mhm.
and I love sex so much, right? So, but also if he's overweight, if he has any kind of like arterial disease like atherosclerosis, which is plaque buildup, that could also make it to where he's not gonna be able to get a hard on. If he's diabetic. There's lots of sorts of stuff that could do that, but I think the diet thing is a big deal. But testosterone checking is a huge deal because it is so common for men's testosterone to drop, which regulates a lot of our sex drive and our ability to be aroused and all that stuff.
Yeah. That would suck.
Probably feels insecure too about
Yeah.
what he looks like. So
Well, so
I don't know.
is the wife like in super shape too? Because
I guess it depends.
that
Well,
depends. That didn't come with that question.
yeah.
Sorry. All right. Question of the day.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
Question of the day. What do you think about that? If he wanted to, he would. Is that always the case?
no.
I don't think so either. But Miss Polly says, I think that unless there are extenuating circumstances, most of the time that is true. If he really wanted to be there, he would. If he wants to be with you, he would. I don't think it is always the case, but I would say 98% of the time.
You know what's interesting about that? Where I found this question is on Instagram. It's this account. I want to give them credit. It's We Met at Acme. It's just a really great account, and they ask lots of questions. And that answer was 99% always. I found that extremely interesting. It's also my answer. I feel if he wants to, he will always do it.
So let me go back. And so I agree that 99.9% of the time, but there's also other circumstances. And I say this because I just had this conversation. I was supposed to go out with someone last night and I had every intention of it, but just different things happened this week. And I had every intention. We were going to a Def Leppard concert in Frisco, like a cover band. So, and we talked about it last week, and I completely forgot. And I actually was really looking forward to this date.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just forgot. It wasn't. I wanted to, but I just had so many things coming up. And then last night, she texted me from the concert. Hey, I hope you're having a good night. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm so. So
can I just want to say one thing really fast, because a lot of times, and I'm not defending one more than the other, but I feel like men get such shit for that sometimes, like as if they don't have like life going on either. Like sometimes I might be really wanting to do something or interested, and then the day comes and I'm like, I just doesn't mean I don't like that person, but like I don't know, why is it always like, is
because
he not allowed to be tired?
Men are like that though. Men are hunter. We're talking in relationships more. It's not like.
But I also
obviously,
say this.
if you say, okay, can we go to dinner tomorrow, like as friends, and then you say no, you don't want to, fine. I am saying in a dating marriage situation, a man will always do what if he wants to. If he doesn't want to. It's period.
But I think it goes both ways. I do think it goes both ways.
But you're hunters. You are different, made different. It's why men and women are different.
I can't take away from what you just said. There's truth to that. But I also, as a man who's been in a lot of relationships or number of relationships, sometimes, I know, as me being a whore, as being in a number of relationships, sometimes it would be cool to not feel like the guy has to do the stuff all the time. Don't be wrong. I get it. Women want to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. I won't take that away because I know your stance very strongly. But it would be nice to have the girl, sometimes plan stuff out or do stuff. Because isn't it the same way? If a girl wants to spend time with you or if she wants to have sex with you, or for guys, we'll have sex with no problem. You can wink at us, you can blink at us, and we're like, But,
I think that there has to be, I think that men have to do what they, like if they want their woman to be a certain way, they have to go above and beyond, right? Like if you want her to be constantly romantically attracted to you, you're going to have to do like the romantic stuff. But I think she acts like she doesn't do anything. She does so much for Patrick. I've said that so many times.
She doesn't
but
count.
It's not that. It's more like
she doesn't count no matter what she says.
Especially courting.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Like courting you. If a guy wants to bring you flowers, he'll bring you flowers. If he doesn't, he's not going to do it. Those are all red flags as well. That's important for women. If he doesn't care about treating you special, he's not gonna.
So with that being said, I'll say this because I totally agree with you, right? But in today's age, like I'll look at someone's social media stuff and like you see these girls who are posting that they like a lot of material shit or whatnot. That's a turnoff for me. If I decide to go on a date with them and there's an expectation that, because I feel like it's generic on their side. I think if someone like you who
this whole entire social media thing is absolutely, that puts a whole different spin on it, and that's today's age, and I do get that. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. I totally agree with that because that is also speaking for the woman though, who she is. Yeah. And if that's a turnoff, I get that. Like even like I'm making myself young for a moment. I wish I was this age. If I was on social media, I would never do that. Does that make sense? So there the difference in the woman too. Yeah. And then those women,
dating is different now. I'm telling you,
it's different.
I mean, there's some really good stuff to it, and it's just, I don't know.
You have to know what your expectations are really in the woman and in the man. So,
but I also think, and I agree with you 100%. I know we got to get off the air, but I think that if we can get to where we're in a healthy spot and we know our boundaries, we know what we're about, it makes it easier to attract that type person, right? Because we know we're not about this kind of idiot woman or dude right? So I don't know.
Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Well, we're gonna have some fun shows with you both single. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.